Hi, Shannon O'Flaherty here. In 1977, Nancy Friday published a book called My Mother, Myself. I read it, I think, in the early 80s when I was about 25 years old. And it was mind blowing. I couldn't even believe the information that I was taking in. I think those were the days when I first started to read self-help books. And back then, Nancy Friday, her whole book was about women who had been reared basically in the pre-feminist time to conform to that time from their mothers, and that how they would have to now struggle to get out of that kind of mode because it was such a modern time back in 1997. 1997? No, we're not there. Oh my goodness gracious. Back in 1977. So it goes much deeper than that, really. Even if you haven't had a difficult birth with your mother, and even if your birth was super wonderful, you might see all of the similarities between you and your mother. And you might be thinking, oh my God, that's the last thing I want to be is like my mother. But she was our first female role model, and we modeled everything that our mother did. I have so many beautiful freeze frame moments with my mother, even just the way that she would put on her makeup. I'd watch her do that, the way that she would draw, because she was an amazing artist, and so many other things, so many good things, and so many terrible things that I learned from my mother. And guess what? Your mother learned all of those things from her mother, your grandmother. And your grandmother learned all of those things from your great grandmother. And so it goes back. 7 generations of cellular memory are passed down. And we might not get all of them, but we could get some of them. So if you feel like you're constantly triggered by your mother, or that you want to be identically like her, both things can be the shadow, because we want to have our own way forward. We want to carve our own path and our own identity. We don't want to pedestalize people and be exactly like somebody else. We want to find our own way through. Because what happens is when that person leaves, when they die eventually, it's such a heart-wrenching thing to lose that person that we've idolized all of that time. So we want to have a really even, equal, balanced connection and relationship with our parents. And if your mother is somebody that you struggle with, or that you're challenged by, or even somebody that you hate, well, I would really encourage you to reframe that and look at that as a gift, so that you can look at those shadow parts in yourself and see what you modeled, because they might show up totally differently for you. Your behavior, her behavior. Often we're mirrors and we don't see it because we don't want to see that horribleness in ourselves. We don't want to see those same kind of behaviors playing out in our lives the way that our mothers did. And so instead of just blindly following the information that you got from your mother, it's really important to find your own way through. And even if everything was absolutely rosy and beautiful, those first 2 early formative years are really, really relevant as to the relationship that we form with ourselves in our safety and security, and the relationship that we form with our mothers. Uh, I learned early on how to walk on eggshells around my mother. And because I'm the person that I am, I spent most of my adult life chipping away at her so that we could have a good relationship together. Because I figured, even before I was a mother, that if I was a mother, that I would want to know what my kid felt and what was going on for her. Turns out I had sons. So did my sister. We all thought we were going to have a family of girls, but we all got boys. And so as a mother, I always wanted to have clear communication with my children. And I'm sure I really annoyed them a lot too. And maybe your your sons might pick up things, behaviors from you as the mother. Or if you're a man, maybe you picked up things from your mother. Um, they also say that that women will marry their fathers, the same kind of man. And of course, I chose a man who on the surface was totally different from my father. But when it all came out, I thought, well, actually, there are a lot of fundamental similarities in both of them. They're both hilarious, totally different sense of humor. They're both writers, completely different style of writing. They're both highly intelligent, also in a completely different way. And they are both workaholics. So you might not see all of the connecting dots and patterns and mirroring going on between you and your mother, but that relationship, you came out of her. And as a mother, your child came out of you. And so we are just a product of what our parents have created, what was going on for them when they were pregnant with us. And same thing for our children. This is how these generational belief systems are passed down. So if you think that your mother still has a major influence over your life, one that isn't making you happy or that you're struggling, this is a great time, especially while she's still alive, to sort it out and find out who your mother is. When my mother died, I knew so much about my mother that even her sister didn't know, that my sister didn't know, that people in her family had no idea about my mother because I asked her all of the questions when she was alive. I wanted to know when I was 15 what it was like for her when she was 15. I wanted to know what her life was like when she was a little kid and what she felt like and what she went through. I wanted to know all of these things because she was my mother, and it's the most important relationship you can have. So if you want to finally heal with your mother, I would really love to hear from you. Please book a call with me. It's free, 20 minutes, and let's have a conversation. This could be a life-changing time for you in your journey. I love you all so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.